Greetings, everyone. This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to push your assignments out through Infinite Campus onto the portal, which would then allow students to view those assignments on the Infinite Campus student portal and submit their work straight through the portal without using any other applications. So whatever you're using for your assignments, you can attach them. You can update all assignments you currently have on there. Uh, the only thing I would say, and this is just a suggestion at this point, is that I would maybe simplify your assignments so it makes it a little easier for students at home and for you to score once they come back. But in this process, whatever you have your work on, whatever current application you're using, it doesn't really matter. You can attach whatever files, whatever you need. You can attach through Infinite Campus, and it'll kick it out through the portal. And if a student is using a computer and they have whatever application you have, say Word, Excel, something like that, just as an example, they could then use it on their computer. If they're using a phone, whatever attachment you put on there, whatever kind of document, it comes up like a picture, which would allow them to see it. They can then either put their answers in straight through the portal, or they could take a picture or attach a file of whatever their work they're doing. So say something pops up, just as an example, I created this quick assignment just as an example, of course, and with 3 questions. So then if they have a piece of paper, they could answer it. They could then take a picture of that piece of paper, submit it straight through the portal without having to use anything else but their phone, without any extra passwords, any this, that, having to download any extra whatever, this or that. All they would need is you need Infinite Campus and they need the student portal, which every student has. Every student has a portal account. That would be something else, trying to make sure we could get everybody, onto the portal. But that's not a problem. That would be for you guys. But to me, this would be the simplest way to do this, because all you need is everything we already have, which is Infinite Campus and the student portal. And the thing we had to do, though, is we had to submit to pay for the full campus instruction package, which has added a lot more functionality. So when you guys get back in there, it's going to look a little different, but don't freak out. You can still do everything the same way you were doing it. There are some different ways to do it now, and what I'm going to show you might be a little different, but don't worry. All your assignments are still there. You could actually update your assignments that are already there, and just have some fun with it and play with it. You're not going to break anything. And me, I'm not somebody that does assignments and works in campus instruction every day. I know how it works, the functionality, this and that. But you guys that use it all the time, I'm sure are going to, once you start using it, it'll be just fine. But let's go ahead and jump in there and take a look. And I've already tried this with my daughter, Brooke Burnett. I created a couple dummy assignments already. I pushed it out using my computer, looking at the portal. It worked just fine. I had her give me her phone, and then I did the process through her phone, took a picture, submitted it. It all worked just fine, the functionality and everything else. Here I'm going to drop into the planner. This is something that's, once we added this functionality, it's there. It gives me my courses, this and that. And these are just dummy courses I created. Nobody's using these at the moment, so I just made them so it's not messing with everything. So here in this course, ICU course, I created it and made 3 categories: daily work, quizzes, and tests. I weighted them. I've already pushed out a couple assignments, but I'm going to go ahead and do another one. The process is basically the same, and wherever you're doing your assignments, be it through the gradebook itself, through assignment overview, however you're doing your assignments, you can still do it that way. There's just added functionality, so don't worry about that. I'm going to make this one a quiz, so I'm just going to call it quiz 1. And again, anything in red is something you have to do. If it's not in red, it's not something you need to worry about. But if you wanted to play with it, again, there's a bunch of new cool stuff here. So just take some time with it. The category, I'm going to put that in quizzes. Semester grade, I'm going to select, of course. I'll just give it 10 points. All of that is up to you guys. If you guys are using a scoring rubric, you can create one and add it here and use it. The new stuff is down here for the students. So, student instructions. If you had, some instructions there, you could. This insert template, if I click on that, it's going to give me a description, objectives, and resources. And so then you could come here and give, whatever information you want to give on your assignment. If you want to just say, please see the attached form, whatever, you could do that. But whatever, the more information you give a student, the better, in my opinion. So description, please see the attached file. Instructions, objective, test, quiz on the portal, references, internet, book, if they have one, and the attachment, blah, 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 whatever you want to say or do there. I'm going to upload that example I just gave, portal test assignment, 3 questions, no big deal. Again, my suggestion is, less is better. But the file size that you can attach is 5 megabytes. The file size they can send back is 5 megabytes. They could actually even do a video submission if you wanted them to, but videos get pretty big. Trying to keep a video under 5 megabytes would have to be pretty quick. That's just the one thing we're limited on there, is the size. So I created or I attached that assignment. It's there. If the student is working on a computer that has Word, they would be able to pull up that assignment, manipulate it on that assignment, resave it, reattach it, and send it back as a Word document. Or if they're just using a phone, this will pull up as just a view screen. They would be able to view those questions. They would be able to answer it inside of the portal themselves, or if they're working on a piece of paper at home, they could write their stuff on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, attach it through the portal, and send it back. And it actually works pretty good, in my opinion. The other thing I'm going to do is student submission. You need this part here. The editor is where they can go in there and type in actual answers to your questions. But if you wanted them to show work, like say math-wise, again, I have this file attachment there so they can take a picture of whatever they're working on and send it in. This for teachers down here. The student submission part is key. If you don't click on the student submission, then it doesn't give them the editor or the file attachment option. So just make sure you do that. For teachers, whatever notes you want to give yourself down here, you don't need to actually do anything here. If you start working on your lesson plan within here, again, there's added functionality. I'm not going to get into all of that. You guys could spend some time playing that way. But right quick, I've created a quiz. I put it in the right category. I've given it points. It's going to the semester grade. I've given some instructions. I've attached a file for them that has the questions. You could put the questions right up in here. You don't have to attach this. You could put what the questions are right up in this area here, and that's how they could answer it. You could do that. But if you already have stuff, created in your documents, whatever, you wouldn't have to do that. But you could just put your questions right up in this area, and then they could answer them through there. But I do have an attachment. I did click on student submission so that they can submit through the editor and use a file attachment. Pretty easy. I'm going to save it. So now it's saved. It's closed. So now I have a quiz out there. Okay. Right now I'm going to drop out of here, and I'm going to log in as my daughter to show you guys how this works through the portal. I'm going to log in as her. So now I'm into the student portal, and the functionality on this computer and on the phone is pretty much exactly the same. It's a little different on the phone in terms of how you view whatever your attachment is, because they might not have Word or whatever else on their phone. They wouldn't need it. But if they are working off a computer that has that, they could do that. But there's my quiz. I'm going to click on it. So you can see if I just ask the questions right there's where they would be. Here is the attachment. Since I'm using a computer and I have Word, it's going to allow me to pull it up. So if I was in here, I could answer the questions. I could do that. I could then resave it, stick it on my desktop, save it. It would be answered. But if they're using their phone, they wouldn't have to do this. This picture would be up. They could then write on a separate piece of paper, the answers, this or that. Or once they're doing their submission, they could come right in here and answer question 1. Question 2, ditto. Question 3, yes. Please open school. I'm bored. If they wanted to select the file, the one I just did, what did I call it? Portal Test 3. I could do that. File size, I'm good. I took a picture earlier. What the heck did I call it? Screenshot test photo 2. Just on my computer, I just took a picture of a piece of paper using phone booth. I could attach that. Whatever other attachments, as long as it stays under 5 megabytes, they could, keep attaching it. So even if they took multiple pictures of multiple pages, it would work. Student comments, whatever they wanted to say, that's going to come back to you. I'm going to turn it in, which is the same as saving it. Your assignment has been turned in. There it is. I'm going to drop out of here, and I am going to go back to where I was. So I'm going to drop back into instruction. There's my quiz. Right here, this is some new functionality, so I'm just going to click on score. Here's the quiz. It's going to tell me it was turned in, and when a student does submit their work, it'll pop up over here with the date and timestamp. So then to evaluate the work, I would just need to click on it. It's going to bring me to the box. There's my comment up there, my gibberish. If you wanted to send feedback right back to the student, you could do it from here, blah, blah, blah. Here's my file attachments down here. So my test photo, there it is. Right up here, you can score it. Oh, look. Aha, 10 points, whatever. You could do that. Of course, you still want to save it. It'll cycle through. It'll bring you back. There was that one. There's the document that I worked on. Pulls it right up. There's your answers. You could then, right or wrong, blah, blah, blah. There was that. And then there was my text submission. If you put the question in that way, to me, works lickety split. I have already tested it with my daughter's phone. It works perfectly fine, assuming they have a good connection, this and that. Again, once you're evaluating work, if there is more than a student, once you click next up here, it'll cycle through your students. To me, this is pretty easy, and you can just, you know, with the added functionality, what assignments you already have there, all you need to do is update them by attaching some documents and doing the student submission, resaving them, and to me, this works lickety split. I don't know what else to do. Of course, you know, you want to learn more. There is more to know, more to learn. There is a bunch more functionality available to you now. The only thing I would say is have fun, you know. And this is some of the other ones I did before. This is submission I did using my daughter's phone. So on this one, I used her phone. But if I wanted to rescore it, you know, coming in here, evaluating her work, you know, this is a picture I took this is a picture I took with her phone, which I then just, when I did the submit, it just takes you to her photos. I just attached the file, you know, it's all good. I'm just going to close this, close it again. Don't worry, however you're doing stuff, you can. You want to just drop back into the grade book if you want to do what you do through here from here. You can see there's that score there. To me, it all works great. So, to me, this is the easiest, you know, thing we can do, because all you guys need is Infinite Campus and whatever you already have, and all the student needs is the portal, which they all already have access to. Again, it might be an issue making sure we get everybody connected, but we're going to have that issue with whatever other options you're using. I've seen some stuff that Culinary pushed out using a couple different things, which is great. I'm not telling you guys you can't do that. I'm not your administrator. I'm not telling you you have to do this. But to me, this is a viable option. It makes things readily available to both you and the student. You're eventually going to have to take what you have in those other applications and put it in to the gradebook anyway. I'm always available. I always have my email up. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one and good luck.